Let's bring out our two teams. Our first have been on this stage quite a lot these last couple of days, and they are unfazed by this crowd. It's FaZe Clan! They have destroyed dreams to get here, but now they are ready to end a nightmare. They know exactly what it takes to go up against a team like FURIA, but do they have what it takes to beat them this time around? Their opponents, we now know that they can bleed. But one thing we know about them too is they always bounce back. It's FURIA! Albeit under a new banner, this roster achieved the impossible last year on home soil in Sao Paulo against their opponents here in this lower bracket final. Brazil versus Brazil in Boston in what is a repeat of the grand final this time last year. We are in for a treat, Siege fam. And now let's bring forward once again KDS. And please, Felipox, come and join me up here. Of course, we have brothers facing off against each other once again, which was an iconic storyline over in Sao Paulo. You two know each other very well. It feels like yesterday that you made history in the Six Invitational 2024. For yourself, KDS, it was heartbreak. How can you stop them this time around?
I think we are going to play like every time you win against them. So I think it will be the same thing the last year.
Felipox, it was a rough day in the office yesterday. Do you have their number?
Yeah, we have, like we did before in the tournament. We know how to play against them now, and we are going to win today.
You guys are, of course, friends behind the scenes. A lot of you mix with each other and are good buddies. But right here, the friendship ends. Any last words for your opponent?
You'll be eliminated today, and will be watching me tomorrow in grand final.
Felipox?
Just good luck. E torcida brasileira que tá aí, bora pra cima e torce por nós.
Please shake hands. Thank you very much, guys. This is iconic. A rematch of the SI Grand Final of last year. Let's do it.
Hello, my name is KDS and I play for FaZe Clan.
I'm Felipox and I'm from FURIA.
I think our strength is the players like Handy and Souls. They are playing very good this year, and I think this is the biggest strength of FaZe Clan.
I think we're the best team because we have understood the meta that we're playing right now better than anyone, I think. So that's why we're the better team.
We are very prepared to face FURIA.
Yeah, I think FaZe is a little bit scared. Just a moment. I think they're going to be haunted by what happened last year.
Playing against FURIA again in the finals will be a challenge for us because the last time we lost, but this time we are going to make other things and we are going to win. A gente vai levar o troféu para casa.
No matter the map, no matter the operator ban, we are always finding a way.
It really is poetic. We've just announced that we are going back to Brazil for a huge event in Rio later this year. And now we have an all-Brazilian buffet here in what is a rematch of the SI Grand Final last year. FURIA versus FaZe Clan. I've got to just do a quick check with the fans. Who's winning this, FaZe Clan? Or will it be FURIA taking this one? Boston is up for it. I know that you are too. Let's get into this with my legends. Devin Pengu.
Thank you very much, Ian. The stage has been set for a rematch of the greatest game in Rainbow Six history. Now, last year, Pengu, you were there.
I know.
You were watching FURIA versus FaZe in that behemoth of a 5-map grand final, and it was a very different environment. It was in Sao Paulo. It was before the Brazilian fans. Now here we are in America, and FaZe are looking for revenge.
They are, and I feel for them. You know, it's one of those, you want to get to the grand finals, but to get there, you have this insane matchup in front of you, while also having played a best of 3 just earlier today.
That's
I mean,
right.
the energy levels, the motivation behind this. We saw FURIA on stage getting ready. FaZe Clan, they were in the room prepping for the future matchup here. It's going to be a long match for FaZe, but they got to do it.
It's been a long day already for FaZe. Although they had a fairly easy, handy match this morning, it's not going to be easy or anything of the sort against the reigning world champions. But what about yesterday? That was not the FURIA we expected to see. We thought maybe they would be going through into the grand final already through that upper bracket, but they got knocked here by BDS, and waiting for them is FaZe.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday up against BDS, it seems like, you know, FURIA, they won the hammer last year, as WCNM, you know? But yesterday against BDS, it seemed like they saw everything as a nail, and all they thought they had was a hammer. They were brute forcing their way in gunfights, in 1v1s and 50-50s, and BDS were out adapting FURIA every single round on both of those 2 maps. I want to see more depth from them today. They claim they know FaZe very well. Today, they gotta prove it.
Yeah, that they do. And of course, FaZe and FURIA, and back when FURIA were W7M, these teams have played each other a hell of a long time. They've been playing in Brazil and at these Six Invitationals so many times, over and over. And typically, it is FaZe that comes out ahead of these best of 3 series until it comes to Six Invitational, until it comes to these matches that matter more than anything. FURIA already bested FaZe in the group stage. We saw it already once in this tournament, and the confidence from Felipox on stage to say there's no doubt that that's what's going to happen again. But FaZe, we saw it in KDS, they don't believe that at all.
They don't. But let's look at that Unwanted matchup. It happened, what, an hour ago or so? FaZe were not beating Unwanted in a very decisive manner. It was close. 7-3 Kafe, sure, but a lot of rounds could have gone the way of Unwanted. 7-5 on the following map, again, not very convincing. And that's also with Unwanted having players like Adam falling kind of short, having like a -16 KDA. So if FURIA show up, like they have been doing so far, FaZe need to be better now than they were just an hour or 2 ago.
Yeah, it's been a turbulent year for both of these teams after playing in the grand final in Brazil. Both FURIA and FaZe, in a way, dropped up. I mean, FURIA didn't even manage to make it to the Montreal Major. FaZe, on the other hand, they kept making it to these main stages, but couldn't find themselves in another grand final. Today, for one of these teams, for the first time in a year, we see them again in a grand final matchup. And we know both of them have been spitting, waiting for this opportunity. FaZe, of course, they've won a major before, but never an SI grand final. And standing in their way, it's the bogeyman.
Yeah.
It's FURIA. It's the team that robbed them of their hopes and dreams last year when they had match point over and over again in front of thousands of fans in Sao Paulo.
This redemption for FaZe Clan. I mean, this is it. If you can break this monster and, you know, wake up from that nightmare, come out on the other side, rejuvenated up against BDS in the grand finals, you can then lift that hammer yourself. But as we keep saying, the nightmare, it might just continue. And I mean, the momentum must be broken for FaZe if this goes back-to-back 2 years in a row like this.
It's always neck and neck between FaZe and FURIA, and it seems to be the case as well here. From you guys at home and you guys here in the venue, it's very much a split vote between FaZe and FURIA. It's a rematch of last year's grand final to make it to this year's grand final, and we're about to get stuck into map 1. FURIA have taken us to Clubhouse to kick things off in this series, and FaZe are hungrier than ever for redemption.
Any expectation, James, here? Is it going to be standard Clubhouse? Is it going to be crazy Clubhouse?
I think
What's the vibe check
I
here?
think there's going to be a level of standard Clubhouse. Both these teams are so good at it. And then on top of that, there's going to be the hero plays. We're going to see JV jumping out windows. We're going to see aggression. We're going to see rushes. And of course, we're going to see that shield play. But not with the Monty, it seems.
Oh, I mean, this is the thing. FURIA actually, surprisingly enough, yesterday up against BDS on Bank, they did bring out the, I think it was Monty and Blackbeard in a couple of rounds, saying we weren't great in the shield meta when it was there, but we're trying to learn it nowadays. Of course, FaZe unknown, Vidiking is a great multiplayer, great multi-team. Makes sense that it won't survive the map veto phase. But Nomad Bandit, Kaid, this is a very usual Clubhouse where it's all about the hard destruction of the walls, keeping them intact for as long as possible, or trying to deny opponents from breaching them.
That's right. Usually this map is all about the hard breach. We've just taken down 2 of the electrification operators on the defense. No Bandit, no Kaid. Very much changes the scope of things here on the attack. Now, as a reminder, FaZe are starting defense first. They are going to lock in a Cav. All right.
Hey, crazy Clubhouse.
Yeah, okay. It seems like you've already answered that question for yourself, Mick. We are going to see a crazy club here. Already that little sneaky Brazilian operator on the defense taken out by FaZe on this defensive side.
So one of the things that I was thinking to myself, you know, prepping for this matchup, is that FaZe and FURIA, they know each other so well, from domestic play, even internationally. I mean, they have so much history. The best way for FaZe to catch FURIA by surprise is that, to be surprising, not play their default FaZe clan. We're gonna be slow, we're gonna be fundamentally solid, but we're predictable. Throw a span in the works, being like, oh, aggression here, oh, crazy thing over there. Starting things off like this, Vigil and the Caveira, confusing the drone rig off the roam clear, having Cyber try and bait for an interrogation, because if you can find that one player, that one isolated member, that can turn the entire round in favor of FaZe clan.
And there's a back and forth read here between FaZe and FURIA as well. The Vigil pick is spotted, and it baits out Herds to re-pick onto the Jackal. But of course, Cyber's footsteps won't be visible. That said, it seems like Nade is tempting a rush. He's already 20 seconds into the round in Dirt Tunnel.
Okay, let's go. You canister pop there, of course, to slow down any sort of rush. Not gonna happen. So all eyes kind of on Cyber, hiding top floor. The drone doesn't go into strip, actually. They see the castle barricade on both the double door and bathroom. So this now says to JV, hey, there's nobody in strip because there's no rotation. So this means if somebody walks on in, that right there, JV92 has been such an instrumental player throughout this tournament, and he might just find himself, oh no, he goes on the rappel instead, please, no.
And meanwhile, Herds, on his entry from CCTV, has found the opening kill. That's the Vigil gone down. That fickle roamer that's going to be all over the map all at once. Here comes the Cav. A free kill on the JV92, but not the interrogation he was looking for, and thus he will retreat.
Yeah, that's a strat, right? You got the surprise factor now. You know, the cat's out the bag. Caveira, you can't roam around. They're not going to go alone any longer, and they've got a good read in this flank right now. But look at that, handy went south. He can fall on back. Oh. Great collapse from Nade upstairs. That box to the top floor finds the kill, back to an even 3-on-3.
Now, the re-roam is cut off by FURIA, and so Cyber goes back to the bomb side and starts reinforcing. That they do. Still 3 more in pocket. Wow, this is a very lackluster setup on the bomb site, but it might not matter. A lot of action's already gone down offsite. In a 3v3, FaZe decide, how do we want to play this?
It's funny because I think both teams are pretty happy with the current circumstances. I mean, FURIA, they have hard destruction, they have soft destruction. They can go for a kitchen attack, you know, for an armory triple wall breach. They can do vert inside of kitchen, they can go for a hatch play. They have so many options. And likewise for FaZe on defense, they got 3 guns, they got 4 canisters, they got 2 mines. This really comes down to execution. FURIA, ideally, when they go for a bomb site attack, they need to find an opening pit to start off the push. Oh, well, they found it before the take, actually. Now in a 1-man advantage.
And now FURIA poised with 40 seconds to play. Vidaking and Souls hold their positions as FURIA try and bait some form of a swing. Vidaking does not land the shot that he is required to. A goo mine out, a flashbang to respond. Souls looking for something, but there's no gap in the smoke. He might be able to see a brief angle, but a few bullets from Herds come his direction. Now Vidaking with info on the player, but Philippe shuts him out of it. 1v3 now for Souls, and he can't find the angle onto that planter. Nade forcing that down, an impact to go out. It does find Philippe. Who's that Pokemon? Looking for 2 more now. The slug shotty in hand. Another impact grenade in the pocket. It's up to Herds to fall back. A bit of damage through the wall actually finds him. And now the fire will continue to trickle out through this bomb site as Souls look for something. It damages him, and he's forced back again. A post plant that is an unenviable position. Herds will find the final kill, and a big round from the entry of FURIA to take the first in the series.
And FURIA is showing us that they can do more than just one thing. Normally, they're super fast, they're aggressive, they're in the building, taking all these like risky gunfights. They're being slow, they are being calm, they're cutting off their rotation, setting things up that 3 versus 3, finding pick after pick, and again, they weren't rushing anything. There were good canisters on the entry pathways. There is a world where they should have been worried about the timer, but they weren't. So again, already in that very first round, we're seeing a different look to FURIA, where they couldn't really find their pacing against BDS. And I know it's early, but it just goes to show that they have come into this matchup with, I think, more respect for their opponent than they had yesterday. You can underestimate BDS and go low bracket, but you don't afford to do that any longer. If you underestimate your opponent now, you go home.
Yeah, and how often can you go for cheeky little picks onto the cab? Cheeky little ideas from FaZe to try and catch out a mistake from FURIA? Very rarely will we see mistakes from teams at this level, but when you're standing on the SI stage, when the blood is coursing through your veins, when every bone in your body is saying don't mess up, don't be the one to make that mistake, that's when they start to creep in.
That's the big thing, risk assessment. Are you playing at the biggest stage of your career? Are you playing for home, cozy and comfy? It doesn't really matter because you gotta show up all the same.
Yeah. And we saw last year what happens when the pressure starts to get to FaZe. 6-1 on Nighthaven Labs on the final map of the tournament. 5 match series championship, 6 invitational points on the line, and they could not deliver the killing blow. FURIA have shown through history that they are never to be counted out. And they're already off on the defense, on the attacking side rather, with a good start here on their map pick. And we need to see more out of FaZe in this second defense.
A bit of self-destruction, get rid of all those castle barricades, windows, destroy it all. FURIA again is showing us that utility comes before just taking those gunfights. You gotta use as much as possible so that when they gotta go in the entry, get aggressive, if a player were to die on the attack, they've spent most of the things in their pocket and they can afford to die. If you have Hurts with 4 Flourish Stones and 2 Flashbangs in pocket die, it's like, what are you doing, Hurts, right? Spend that stuff first, then you can get aggressive. FaZe right now, they're not doing anything. They're sitting in their corner, still waiting for the first move. They're happy with the current player positions. It's up to FURIA to make the first step. The only thing FaZe has shown us so far, they want bar control, they want verticality. The rest of the FURIA, do they want to pick that apart or just simply go upstairs?
Very mobile defense here from FaZe. Spray through the wall from Hurts as he is tempted to lurk downstairs. The Kiba to protect the re-aggression from KDS up the main stairs as Souls finds the player outside the breach. And in the building, it's Nade, diffuser in hand, but also that bearing 9, of which he will find his second kill of the round. Numbers advantage for FURIA as they just wait and bait for FaZe to make a mistake, but Cyber will not do so. In fact, he brings the advantage back into FaZe's favor.
They had a phone call. Philip was on the window to kind of bait his teammate. I mean, you have Nate inside the bomb, so now he's dead as well. FURIA, what was that push? You had it, now you've potentially lost it.
Bit of a spray and the retreat from Cyber. He has to stand his ground now. A C4 goes out. JV falls. All up to Felipox now, desperately jumping in the window. A second flash to go out. That will blind Cyber, but he can retreat down that hatch. And now there's no way, surely, for Felipox to win it. Vaulting and an easy spray from the king himself. FaZe have replied in kind.
I feel like FURIA had it all. I mean, they got the bar control. They had Nade inside the bomb site. They had Look call in pocket. They had man advantage. And all of a sudden, they pull the plug and go, pause. Let's hold angles. Let's wait for the next step. But what was the next step, FURIA? I didn't see it. You didn't show it. And then FaZe Clan, they actually get on the offense, start swinging out, realizing, hey, if we don't start getting a couple of kills, this will fall apart for us eventually. This right here, great from Cyber. He has to take that risk. Felipox doesn't answer back. That's a yellow ping. They have information.
Yeah. You said at the start of this map, Nicholas, are we going to be seeing bog standard Clubhouse? We're going to see something a little bit different. Well, that round we saw a mirror on the unusual side of the wall that enables aggressive peaks. We saw FaZe re-aggressing in the numbers disadvantage, and we saw Nade just sending it into sight, FURIA. So I think your question has been answered.
What I love about Clubhouse is just how many ways there are to attack it. We often see when a team, FURIA, they start the attack, they'll do their approach, then side swap. FaZe will do a whole different kind of take on it. And it's one of the maps where you have so much creativity. Right now, whether it's the Mirror, the Asami, the Capital, I mean, you still have Blackbeard and the Blitz open as well if you're a shield team. People will think, oh, they're defending CCTV. So as an attacking team, you're gonna go catwalk, you're gonna attack that, walk into side, that's it. You don't have to. You absolutely can with the Capital open, but that's why KD is on the Wamai. Because they are also recognizing catwalk is a strong point, put the Wamai magnets to cover the Asami, We can try and play there for as long as possible. Mirror on breach, KDS finds JV actually. Deimo's taken off the board. That's important because that's how they're gonna get information on Handy's position on Catwalk. And now FURIA taking so much damage outside the building.
Yeah, Souls must have found a 4-leaf Bover this morning. He's finding wall bangs. A lot of damage on the poor Herds, who thankfully does get out with his life. However, the same cannot be said for JV, as you said on the Deimos. 0-3 right now for one of the star players of FURIA. Frustrating for someone that likes to get as lively as JV.
Oh yeah.
Has certainly been silenced thus far. KZ's on for a bit of a lurk, all the way down, waiting for someone to come his way. Good info though. This castle will protect some of these positions inside of Lounge for FaZe. That castle which has been brought every round so far from the defense thus far. Hammer and anvil as KZ makes his way up the secret stairs, guided by a drone, with a Kiva standing in his way.
Call comes through, but where is the push? They're looking for players downstairs, but there's nobody to be found. I mean, now you're gonna fight with Catwalk player. This is so risky. The thing is, because FURIA are losing players early on, they gotta go for risky plays.
Cyber through the floor finds Herds. Good angle though, KZ lit up to high heavens by KDS. From here on top of the rafters, FURIA have struggled to find their way into this round.
FaZe is not a team that leaves gaps on defense. They play this like very solid 5-man hold. They cover each other's backs. No gaps to be found. FURIA, they're fishing, hoping for a mistake from FaZe Clan instead of matching them on that team structure, picking them apart. They didn't attack Catwalk. They didn't attack the breach. They were fishing for a kill downstairs, but there's no one there. They're gonna just walk on in.
Oh no, Nade's been watched as well. Could it be a perfect round from FaZe? As KZ, the Lion, goes outside and tail between his legs will just talk to the rest of his team. The dog's hounding him. He's just gonna wait and have a little bit of a chat with the roster because 30 seconds is enough time to figure out what the hell they're gonna do next round to stop that from happening again.
It feels like FURIA might even be overcomplicating this and maybe doubting themselves, saying, oh, FaZe don't know how we play the game, so let's try and go off paper right now. But it's not working. I mean, they have such great operators. Maybe in this particular round, the fact that JV died as early as it did on the demo said, okay, let's go to plan B. We've already lost a key member. That could be the case. But you still had Capital. You had a ton of flashbangs on Hertz and KC. You could have easily attacked Catwalk Raptors if you wanted to, but that wasn't their approach to this round. They're gonna call their quote-unquote timeout right now. KC just talking to his team as you mentioned, but we gotta see FURIA get kind of warmed up now and go, you know, aggressive.
Yeah, I think that FaZe have started to read after what happened in that first round where they tried to go for a bit of a roam. That's what FURIA want. FURIA want these late round 3v3s, 2v2s. That's their comfort zone. But if FaZe create a fortress on that bomb site, if they lock up, they cover their crossfires, then FURIA are going to really struggle to break into it. Like you said about the BDS FURIA game yesterday, when FURIA sees a problem, they see a nail, and all they've got is a hammer. They need to be a little bit more nuanced than that if they want to break into these solid defenses of FaZe.
Yeah, I mean, look at how every single kill happened there for FaZe. I mean, they barely had to work for it. They picked their 5 positions. They stayed there pretty much the entirety of the round. And that was that. Problem solving has to be stronger. It has to be better. Now, that's the first rotation of bombs. The first 3 rounds, you see the primary ones, the basement, the CC, the gym. Now FURIA, they got kind of a scope on what's the landscape looking like? What can we expect from FaZe Clan? So now there's 2 things that can happen. Either FaZe will keep things the same, and FURIA will have to make the adaptations necessary, or FaZe Clan will go for a wildly different approach, keeping FURIA more in the unknown. And if you go back to the very opening round, we saw Caveira, we saw Vigil, we saw a heavy aggressive roam game. Now we're seeing a ton of utility, mirror windows, Midas, mute jammers. Likewise, FURIA, they're playing Blitz.
Yeah.
Now they're not a huge shield team, but they have started slowly implementing it. And I want to see what Philip's thinking right now because a Blitz can be very tricky to deal with on basement because of long lines of sight.
There he is. Spotted, but behind
Cyber.
him lies in Wade Hurts. Oh, Cyber! How are you doing that to FURIA? A good trade, though. FURIA try and restabilize, but KZ says there's nothing stable about it. We have to go deep. A castle barricade bars his way, and JV himself has snuck into blue. Looks for one. Finally gets on the board. JV for a double. FaZe might have started the equation, but FURIA looked to finish it. Another one for JV. Goes begging. as he looks for a little bit more. Worried about Util. It's time to back out and time to reassess.
But you see again, FURIA, they hesitate. They drop the hatch. Okay, pause, slow down again. Okay, now we re-aggress. They're doubting themselves just a little bit. A great drop after 2 players dying so early on, but I gotta say, why not full commit? You said, James, they like the 2v2s, and they got it right now. The attackers on full HP, Vidiking handy, both relative low, no C4s, very limited information game as well, and so much time to work with. Almost half the round left. If FURIA, again, they gotta make the first move.
Look at the HP on Vidiking. Look at the HP on Handy. What are you doing, Nade?
Oh,
Waiting. Oh, there's JV finding his third. And now Handy looks to try and get aggressive. He has to isolate these 1v1s, but he can't march too far forward because JV's got the angle, and Nade can secure it. FURIA are back into this, breathing life into Clubhouse. It's 2-2.
I mean, that round just doesn't make sense, right? When you see 2 players in the entry dying and bombing, it's so over for FURIA. But then, that's when they get aggressive. I mean, it wasn't KC dropping the moto hats I was expecting to make the hero play, but JV walking down blue, despite the mirror window, the castle barricade, and the fact that FaZe did actually have a crossfire, but they mistimed it. Nobody was watching him as he walked down. I mean, this is beautiful. Philippox thought he went for the flashbang. Hurts thought it was safe. He gets his 2 kills, he dies. But then this, finds one. Wamai unsure where to swing, dies as well right after. And that's when they restabilize, they slow things down. JV had a slow start, but he has awakened.
That he has. And you also have to credit the minutiae of the team play here from FURIA. KZ, the player that dropped down that moto hatch, he was shooting either side of that mirror. He was trying to keep, if there was a player there, distracted so that it could enable JV to march his way forward. And of course, JV being the instrumental player in that round for FURIA, he needed to be enabled. Little details that escalate teams to that next level, especially in arenas like this. I mean, I can tell you for damn sure, it's pretty damn loud on that stage. It's pretty damn loud in here. Need to be able to concentrate, form up, and get every tiny little I dotted and T crossed with your team. You have to be fully in sync.
Especially if you're going for a heavy execute oriented strat. I mean, look at this. The Sense, the Capital O's have Blackbeard. They're going to use those Osa shields outside the building to create a safe area to hold the rotations. They use Nade on the Sense to cut off the bomb site and all these tiny pieces and just go for a bomb site plant. Mind you, with that rework to Sense that happened recently, the projector walls don't count as a smoke grenade. You can't see through them with the bulletproof cameras or a Warden or Maestro or a Glass, nothing like that. So that wall, you can shoot through it, sure, but you can't see through it.
Oh,
no
Cyber! That's a little bit awkward.
He didn't get the thermite either, so nothing was won for him. So that's step 1. Breach, Osa shield. JV's gonna sit here probably the entirety of this round. My curiosity now, where is FURIA thinking they're gonna enter the building from? Is it gonna be rappels, the hatch, the window jump-ins? Right now they're made, what is that?
Very unusual projector. Vidiking also gets aggressive. I like the projector here on the balcony. Cyber finds his, directly traded by JV. And Souls is hiding in the corner, finds KZ upon his entry. Desperately looking for a little bit more. KZ! KDS has found another. It's all up to JV now. Hiding behind his Osa shield will find him very little. A desperate attack from FURIA, trying to make their way up the main stairs, trying to vault in windows. Souls was there to meet them, and KDS there to support. FURIA easily put down that execute, and once again take the lead on Clubhouse.
I didn't see it exactly, but I think Souls might have saved the round there because they were going for the capital fire arrow on the windows, and I think it keep it off the window as the fire arrow got shot. That's why there was fire outside the building. So I think that's how they're gonna try and clear that, you know, Souls inside a gym on the rotation, and because they missed it, he gets the kill instead, stays alive, shuts down the push. FURIA, not the most well-coached strat in that round, but with that being said, FaZe Clan are showing us that they can be aggressive and proactive when they feel like FURIA are getting close to execute. So here we see the openings. Rappel on in, the flashbang misses. Individual kills, yeah, just going in favor of one team over the other. And I will say FURIA, not a whole lot of players that could help each other. It was 1v1v1v1s that typically favors defense.
Yeah. Yeah, little things like being allowed to retake main stairs when you've got an Osa shield outside the breach. FURIA are expecting these positions to be covered, and that's why they have a lot of their players looking the wrong way. One last round and a half now, Pengu. FURIA look to try and tie it. This is their map pick after all, and there's a good chance that FaZe will come out swinging on their attacking side.
I do think with the current playstyles though, I could see FaZe being better on their defensive side than their attack, because FURIA, when they're not giving the openings and they can't seem to make them themselves, they get locked down. That's how they lost most of these rounds so far. When the sideswipe comes out, FURIA can run around, they own the full map, they can take the gunfights the way that they want, they can force FaZe to either match their aggression or try and pick it apart very slowly. So if FURIA can go 3-3, they should be very happy with that side half. However, if this goes, 4-2 in favor of FaZe Clan, you're not far from being against match point.
Look at the passivity now from Herds, a player that's usually the first one in the building, hiding behind the bikes, waiting for someone to cross his line of sight in through lounge. Cyber seems to have a read of this. Been a hot series from Cyber so far, and now he's got that magnified scope. He's been watched. Herds flicks and finds the kill. Finally, Cyber put in the dirt. FURIA starting with a numbers advantage again.
Such an important kill, punishing the aggression of FaZe Clan, finally getting that opening pick they've been wanting so badly, but it comes down to execute. Last time, they failed to do anything on cattle rafters. KDS is still there. Magnets in pocket, positioned and ready. Verticality, all those long lines of sight. And FURIA, they need to now enable Phillybox on the Capitao. Get him in there. Get the fire going. Burn the player positions. Get catwalk control. Then work the bomb side. They have so much time. They just can't mess this up. They need catwalk.
So here comes the Capitao. It's the smokes used to cut this line inside. But guess what? Souls! He's retaken the position where Cyber fell previously and avenged his dead teammate by taking down Herds.
And just like that, what do you do now? I mean, that was plan A, right? James has some flashbangs. That was your floor balls. Now Capitao, he has no burn for the magnets. Now you can't click out with Raptors.
Someone needs to support poor Felipox down here. Nade still has 2 grenades on him, and so he will rotate over. He's a slow operator though, and he's worried about another player peeking from that pool window. As he makes his way into garage, he preps his nades! And KDS gives him exactly what he's looking for, while taking down Felipox. Easily picked up. FURIA have the control they needed, but not the time that they wanted to do it in.
20 seconds left. FaZe, do you wait around, try and go for planted eye, do a last shot and try and find those individual players? There is one. Felipox goes down, still C4 in pocket. This is so winnable for FaZe Clan.
Diffuser picked up by Nate. C4 pre-ripped by Vidaking. It's all up to Souls now to prevent any quick aggression. He does so for one. Traded by JV. Still this C4 is ripped, but they're hunting for kills. Diffuser is down, and Vidaking, all he needs to do is lie in wait. FURIA fumble it, and FaZe are flying.
They're giving so much space to FaZe to thrive in these rounds right now. I gotta say, the catwalk vault over, I'm thinking you're crazy for that, but it did burn enough time. It got so many players from FURIA low enough on their health bars for Souls to take those gunfights comfortably, shut them down one by one, and then we saw a timer 5 seconds, 4 seconds. And again, there's no trade game. One person pushing radio, one pushing top red, and FaZe, they get their 1v1s that they desired.
But dude, the confidence that it takes for Vidaking to hold his nerve in this 2 versus 4, to contest these long lines of sight, and then to rip his C4 and hide in this corner for 15 seconds, waiting, just waiting and hoping that no one from FURIA will pre-fire him all alone, and he still does not budge. He hears the player coming in close, he sees the diffuser drops, and on 1 HP, he hides it. That right there is nerves of steel, and that's why he's the king.
Oh boy. So the 2-4 half happens, and FURIA, I mean, they don't look like they are in control right now. Now it's side swap time. FURIA, they are in my minds, back when they were Reign as WCNM, they were the kings of defense. They're everywhere on the map, they give you nothing for free, they contest the roam game, and they have such an ego about the way they take gunfights. They do not care who you are, and they do not care what operator you're playing, what gun that you have. They'll happily take any fight you give them. And this lineup, it screams combat potential. Valcams, Scopos, Mossy, Lesion, they can play for themselves, they can put down the gadgets, they can slow down the attackers, and guess what? They all have low recoil, really high rate of fire weapons that can just win out in those engagements.
Well, FURIA are the best defense team at Six Invitational.
There it is.
65%, with FaZe trailing just behind them by 0.6%.
Oh, okay.
Both of these teams are unbelievable on their defensive side. This SI, a hacked drone there. I heard as Mozzie. Cyber is concerned, wary about aggression, doesn't have info from his drones, and so he has to dry peek all of this.
Could be dangerous, could be scary. Have lack of intel, pre-plays C4, not pre-plays at all, gets popped immediately, finds nothing though. Philippox roaming inside a strip club, has a TP on Scopos, but look at this Casey getting so aggressive, that's the ego I talked about.
Oh, but he's caught out. Vidiking says, that's enough for you. And he puts the big cat to sleep. Still, the roam is alive. Herd's on this top floor. Goes for an impact, goes for a kill, but he can't find the angle. And now the jig is up. FaZe know exactly where Herds is lying in wait. And the hunt comes in from Souls. It gives him a new haircut. A two-player advantage now, and Philippox on the Scopos keeps this roam alive, but for how much longer for FURIA?
They're just not helping each other. I mean, Casey was aggressing inside a kitchen, and nobody else was striking anywhere else in the map. So FaZe, they can focus one roamer at a time. First it was Casey, then it was Hertz. Now it's Philippox up next. Has the teleport, can go by the side if he wants to, but you have to stick around. You have to play for a kill. He finds one. Will he stick it out though? Because you're still down one player. TP goes through. Downside he goes. No spare reinforcements. That triple wall is soft on the third panel. So pressure will come when Bot gets downstairs.
And there, Scopos' spare shell destroyed. Philippox is now stranded on the site. And yet still FURIA taking these aggressive positions. JV in Church. A rotation from Handy. But Souls, as you said, is going to be the instrumental player. This flash doesn't find JV. So he sprays him on the drop. A refrag coming in from KDS, but he's low HP. And now caught by a Goo Mine. Can JV find them all? Shot in the backside. And now again, it's up to Nate. He spots the first. There's a second player looking for him. And this time the clock favors FURIA. Nothing in it for FaZe to chase down the rats on the bomb site. And they are left wanting. FURIA starting the second half, closing that distance by one more round.
The timer is a very difficult thing to manage sometimes in a big map like Clubhouse. You know, roam clearing top floor, first floor, downstairs. And up against the Goo Mines. The Goyo Fire. It's so problematic. FaZe did a great job finding those first two picks, but could not convert them into a round victory. It looks so free, but then again, the bomb site, very few ways in. The flashbang didn't blind the player on defense to catch the Moto Hats drop, and that really closed the door on the attack of FaZe. Bomb site rotation though, that's basement done and dusted. Now instead, they'll go to CCTV, which plays out very differently. Now you can no longer play around the entirety of the map. It's more about playing the bomb site itself, the rooms right by it. We see it here. 1v1, v1, v1s. Almost no trade game. JV being allowed to just thrive in these over-aggressive positions. He started off with 0-4, 0-3. He's 8-5.
Wow. Aggression's the name of the game for FURIA today. Even KZ running it through the kitchen hallway early in the round. Yeah, and he was taken out. Even near the end of it, Philippox on Scopos, at the dying moments of the round, he's sending it back up main stairs for a flank. Yeah. That was where he died that round.
Yeah.
And it is burning the clock away from FaZe. The fuse is burning at both ends of the candle for the attacking side. As this aggression continues to mount from defense, it will be sat down by that lion pick of Vidiking.
Maybe one could say that there's so much respect between these two teams, not allowing each other to execute in those like 5v5s and 4v4s on Clubhouse. They both know they're so great at it on the attacking side. They'd rather make it messy, make it chaotic, and just get those odd numbers like a 3v2 and a 2v2 where you can't really play for a bomb site plant. It's more about playing for the killing, playing for positioning. He's gonna try and trick the wall with the mirror window.
I love it. What do you do when you ban Bandit, FURIA? Oh, well, we can trick. We can just juggle with the bloody mirror window.
It's ridiculous. Not been put down just yet. It's great against the exothermic charges, but that's not what we're gonna see right now. Is the Selmas. Handovers it.
Wow.
4 nades. Okay.
Well, the dock won't save you from that, KZ, although it was a nice idea. FaZe had the perfect remedy for that ailment.
That's what I mean, though. When FURIA were attacking, they couldn't pick off those isolated players on defense in corners. FaZe are so efficient already. Just nade spam it. Now they got spare, caps on fire. And one thing is, Doc is supposed to deal with the caps on fire. If you're fired and you get Doc stimmed, you'll live. Now there's no Doc, you'll get burnt to a crisp.
Here comes the fire, but what? Swing from JV! Traded back by KDS. And that does mean Garage has been forfeited by FURIA. Numbers still in favor of FaZe on this attacking side. But the Roamers on the ground floor look for a retake. Hiding in the corner is Souls. He's chilling out on top of the couch. But he's like, gotta watch both ways. He finds the first one, traded by Hertz, who's left all alone. C4 available, but he's got to duel this long engagement. And KDS on the Blackbeard will take him down. FaZe have mounted that momentum, taking this game back into their own hands.
Such a high-level round from FaZe Clan there. I mean, that's why they're such a good team. There are 2 players on Calgrafters, the Asami and the Doc. What most teams will try and do is they'll use the Capital Fire to burn the Asami alive, and then Doc will stim her time after time after time, and you'll live. What do? They deal with Doc first, spending 4 grenades and a couple of flashbangs, and then they can fire the Asami for free because the first counter is done. It's just recognizing the win conditions for FURIA, picking it apart in the right order, and just executing it very cleanly. While that's happening, they got flank watch downstairs excellently. They recognize where the players are from FURIA and where they could be backstabbed from. This right here, that's the only thing that didn't really go their way, but guess what? They traded it. So they get 2 kills at the cost of losing 1 player. That's always worth it.
In the first minute and a half of the round, all 3 E1Ds were used from line as well to suppress any aggression so that FaZe could afford to be using all 4 of their grenades to toss in and kill that Doc. Beautiful work from FaZe. They've come into this game prepped for FURIA's Clubhouse. Keep in mind, it's the reigning world champs who picked us to go to this map. Next up is Kafe. It's going to be a rough slog for FURIA if they lose here on the very first map, considering that yesterday it was Kafe and Bank. They lost to BDS. Now that's the rest of this series after Clubhouse. So we're already looking at FURIA and saying, guys, you're behind by 2 rounds. We need a little bit more to show that you've got it in you to take down FaZe again.
Not just that, but I mean, Clubhouse, Kafe, and Bank, it's all about problem solving. There's so much map to work with. There's so many difficulties to overcome. So if you can't find it here in the first map, FURIA, I mean, you better hope that's your warm-up because you gotta solve it very soon shortly after.
Mirror trick.
Oh, does he get it? Oh. I'm gonna say he did. Yeah, he did.
Okay. If that was detonated straight away by Cyber, I believe that would have still exploded. But yeah, unfortunately for FaZe, I don't think they had quite the read on what was happening there.
It's a nice attempt, but they're gonna be missing that breach later on. There's no real replacement. I mean, the summer charge is sure, but Ace is not in the right position. He's in Garrett instead. Casey holding catwalk control. They keep it barriers, playing to die in the spot.
I've seen him play here before. Wasn't that just last round on the dock? How'd that turn out for him?
Well, this time, there are no nades, but there's still kept on fire. There are green bees. There are drones. He drops down. Is he out?
Oh, he's been caught.
Oh, the cast a barricade.
It's taken down. Can we see a swing? Oh, 1 for Handy, but not the second. Meanwhile, Cyber has been finished off, though both of his exothermics were already utilized. So not the biggest of deals there for FaZe. They should be pretty happy with this exchange.
Yeah. I mean, the health bars, KC, JV, both very low. They get so much map control. I mean, all 4 defenders now on the bomb site itself. If FaZe, they realize this or drone out the building, they'll recognize, okay, we got, for one of the few times, a 4v4 execute that can be played out where you have a lot of utility. You have C4s from defenders, 2 in pocket. You have Capital Fire, Grim Bees, EMP. So now it comes down to execution. Will FURIA leave any gaps for FaZe to exploit? Will FURIA have the crossfires to trade bodies evenly or advantageously when it comes down to execute? Where will FaZe strike? The fire and the smoke from Capital should show us what the plan is. Here comes the fire.
It does flash out one position. Oh, C4 does miss for JV, but now his position down below should be known, and Handy can go hunting. Good lines of sight exposed on the bomb site for KDS to look deep in towards Jim, but no breach here on the main jacuzzi wall, and it does force Souls to rotate. 20 seconds to go, and in goes KDS. But all of FURIA are hiding at the back of the bomb site. Vidaking needs to get into position to force this plant down, but Nade and JV come to life. It's up to Vidaking now, with Souls covering to force this diffuser. One with the DMR, not a second! The FURIA fight back again! No map point for FaZe, not yet!
Back and forth, round by round. It will come down to who is the best team on this map. We'll not just suddenly have one team give up or fall over, have no more gas left in the tank. Now, if this goes the long way, we gotta start considering, you know, oh, FaZe Clan, they played earlier today. It's FaZe Clan. They are an experienced team. They played for a very long time. They were there last year. They played a very long series before.
How many hours did that Sao Paulo Grand Final go for?
Yeah, a long
6
time.
or 7 hours.
I mean, I know it's a different FaZe Clan nowadays, but Berlin Major, FaZe Rogue,
Yeah.
different team,
Wow.
but the organization, they know a thing or two about playing the distance.
Oh, well, if you want to speak to that, FaZe as an organization joined Rainbow Six 7 years and 28 days ago.
Okay.
In the January of 2018, and they are still yet to find a hammer. A major championship, yes, though that was way back in 2021 in Gävle, Sweden. It's been a long time since FaZe have raised any sort of trophy in Rainbow Six, yet how many times have we seen them in grand finals? Surely another one here in Boston. That said, it's gonna have to be against FURIA that they claim that spot. FURIA are looking good here on their defensive side. They've only caged one round so far, the 3 we've played. They're starting to build this back up into a convincing Clubhouse.
It's been hard to figure out which players to look out for right now. I mean, for FaZe Clan, KD-wise, everyone is very even right now, putting in their full efforts. For FURIA, KC, Felipox falling a little bit short behind the curve of expectations. 2-9, 3-6.
KZ, the best player at Six Invitational by far, so far. 152 kills to 111 deaths.
Oh.
Positive on the entry, high costs, and the highest EPS of any player as well. And yet, 3-6. So if the line wakes up, FURIA will certainly not be in as much trouble as it seems.
That's been their biggest strength. I mean, FURIA can run over most teams at this event by just sheer gunpowder and skill. But the longer you go in these tournaments, the less it becomes about the individual players, more about the team core and what you can do together as a 5-man unit. And FaZe Clan, they know all about that. It's all about the brotherhood, playing together, executing together, and covering for each other. We see Flippy is willing stairs right now, looking for a mini play against the smoke. But off screen, actually, KDS finds hers instead.
Here comes the Candela!
Okay.
And the collapse! Felipox is down, a C4 finds very little. And Souls sending it down main. Barbed wire to be taken out. A quick pounce from Souls with that Ying. Still 3 Candelas in pocket.
Last time FaZe attacked this, they had this exact same position. 5v3 in the roam clear, they did so good. Then they stalled out, they got way too low on time, and in the end, the clock was against them. We see the goals available to the defenders. They cannot afford to slow down. They got the Ying, they got the glass, they have Capital. They can go whenever they want to. And in the next 20 or so seconds, they gotta show us what their plan is going to be. Otherwise, I do worry about it. Maybe perhaps figure out what nade is on that Warden and just attack in the opposite side of where he is to utilize the smoke grenades, the flashbangs.
Bit starved for information though. Here comes the Capital's fire. No choice for nade, but to run through with the guns come to life. Out of absolutely nowhere. FaZe fall onto the site one by one. FURIA can hardly believe it themselves. 5 rounds apiece.
5 attackers, 3 of them powerful operators in utility, execute operators. Oh boy, and they will this actually, FURIA calling their tactical timeout.
Nada. Not working.
Alô.
Agora.
Tá, guys, se liga. JV, ó, eu acho que eles vão fazer agora a play deles de caçada lá pra construção. Fox, vamos fazer aquele setup do Jagger.
Sim, eu ia
JV,
fazer isso.
você acha que se a gente fizer, tipo, com tu de Clash e alguém de Jagger, tu fica vivo na garagem? Porque eles só te tiram com recurso. Eles não te matam, tipo, e aí, porque tipo, aí só vai ter a Clash, eles estão querendo fazer HE com barba lá da porta, tá
Eu
ligado?
pego,
É isso que eles
então.
estão fazendo.
Alguém
Não,
pega muito rápido, guys. Prepara
esquece,
muito rápido.
eles vão dar mais
tem que ser o
tempo.
case, então.
Ó, aí tu pega o Jagger, ele pega a Clash, tu faz o mute. Eles vão querer caçar, provavelmente, tá,
fechou.
guys? Pode mudar, ó. E aí é isso. Depois, vamos fazer uma da academia. Vamos começar a colocar as Frost um pouco na janela e tal, tá ligado?
Fechou.
Aí você vê qual da academia quer fazer, beleza?
A lot to say from Igor, the coach of FURIA in their tactical timeout. We made out a few words there.
Yeah, one of them being Clash.
I heard Clash, I heard Jaeger, I heard Garaji.
Okay. I think I heard Dokkaebi.
Dokkaebi,
well.
okay. Well, I do believe it should be a CCTV defense. Next up for FURIA, as they just won Church, and the round prior they won Gym. CCTV is going to be up for grabs, and this has been a tough one to defend for FURIA. Their Doc and Azami strat was well counted, and now clearly something cooking up with a Clash and a Jaeger.
It could be the answer, and I want to praise him with that. Yeah, what happened that round?
Not a good day to be Doc if you're going up against FaZe.
There it is, you're right. Jaeger and the Clash. Now, I am curious what the thinking is for FURIA, because in my mind, if you're gonna put Jaeger and ESS on the catwalk rafters and play the Clash in that position, I feel like you would just die to the Captain of Fire like most other operators. At the very least, have a very hard time against it. But that, to be said, it doesn't have to be the Clash playing on this position. You can do other things with it. Play Master Bedroom, play for a retake. Just get information on main breach for an aggressive swing, for example. And the best thing of all, Clash as an operator, you can roam around wherever. You can start catwalk rafters, you can also get out of that position because you can extend that shield, walk around to the other place. That's why we see these rotations on the bomb side being so tall and so wide, so Clash can walk through them while extended. Okay, you see this? Hello, I'm Clash, and I don't care where you are.
Yeah, a good full-size rotation hold there for JV. My concern, though, for FURIA is that JV has as many kills as KZ, Philippox, and Hertz combined.
Yeah.
And he's now on the operator that's going to have a shield in his hands instead of a gun for the majority of this round.
This is where you say, Philippox, buddy, you've been promoted to Clash, you're 2-10, play the shield.
Now, this is when you say, Philippox, I know you're 2-10, but we know you're an absolute gunner. So spring to life with that SMG-11 this round, please, for God's sake.
That's some trust in your teammates right there, James.
You gotta have it.
You gotta have it.
We've seen Philippox show up in this tournament as well so far. Seems to be KZ, who, as we said, has been a little bit quiet. Found 2 kills last round, though.
Little mini execute here. Pop the castle barricade, hold that aggressive angle, join inside of lounge main door. Go for a swing to get a free pick.
Good read. As this bait herds into looking for something, yet KZ's gone for a swing as well, and he's been read to death by FaZe.
They're so sharp again. FaZe get the 5v3.
Oh, what are you doing?
What is this, JV?
JV! He said, I need a gun in my hands. He didn't realize he was vulnerable. And now, after the tactical timeout, FURIA are letting it slip quickly out of their fingers. Nade looking for something aggressive downstairs, but FaZe have so much time to burn.
Yeah, they should expect aggression now. FURIA will be desperate. FaZe, you cannot mess up this round. Hold those angles, do not get greedy, utilize the 5-bit information, and work out where those 2 defenders are, and pick up pot one by one.
Nothing but a pair of SMG-11s to do it. Perhaps a Nitro Cell could bear some weight here for Philippox, but no! 11 deaths in the game for him, and Nade now desperately looking for something. Hopefully, more than an exit. 2 gas in pocket against 4 players here from FaZe, and they are hunting him down. The tactical timeout denied, and FaZe now on map point on FURIA's map.
Oh boy, and they've had rounds where, I mean, the 5v3s from FaZe now could haunt them. If they cannot close this out in regulation, if it goes to OT, and FURIA, they make the comeback happen, that's where I start to worry about the mental side of FaZe Clan. Because they should have closed this out last round. They've had 2 separate 5v3 advantages on basement where they blundered massively. Now they had a clean 5v2 into a 4v1 victory. That was it, it was clean. FURIA, they're losing most of these rounds in the first minute or so. These small mini plays, main door swing aggressively. Again, no trade from FURIA. JV, you're thinking, what are you doing? He has to go for that play. He's lost 2 players. He's gonna get burnt by catwalk rafters. No one can assist him. But FURIA, instead of getting desperate in the beginning, play together, and then of course you can ego swing if nothing else works. It seems like ego swinging is their main play style. It's the only thing they have. Again,
Only
hammer and the nail.
in their toolbox, as you said, the hammer to every nail. FaZe have won 8 out of the 11 opening engagements in this map so far, and yet only 6 of the rounds. If anything, that tells us that FaZe probably should have put this map to bed so far.
They should have.
FURIA have looked so rough, and it is not a good look for the reigning world champions on their map pick. Could they be dethroned by the team they stole it from last year?
We're seeing both teams bring out those shield operators once more. King, because Monty's banned on the Blackbeard, Nade this time on the Clash. Now this bomb set of Gym Master Bedroom, I do think favors a Clash a whole lot more. You have more ground to move around, you have more angles to cover, and I think you have more agency saying, hey, they're going for a CCTV attack, I can deal with that. They're going for a Jacuzzi Breach, I can walk over there as well. Once you're in counter rafters, you can find yourself stuck. So Nade playing right now very openly around the map right now, top red. You see 3 players from FaZe Clan ready to strike, however. And how will they deal with the Clash? I mean, they have only grenades, 2 in pocket of King on Blackbeard. That's the only real way to push that Clash around.
It has been a Heartbreacher's paradise here on Clubhouse with no Kaid and Bandit. Look how easily Handy and Cyber can clear open these walls. FURIA, they tried tricking, using a mirror window. They tried swinging everything, and now they're trying to use that Clash to enable the retreat, but JV, he has been caught. Philippox finds Handy. 1 free kill there for FURIA as they pull back onto the bomb site, give up the ground, give up the ghost to FaZe. Nade's taking a hell of a lot of HP damage, and he won't be getting that back anytime soon.
1 more bullet, he's down, that's it. I mean, Twitch drone at this point could maybe injure the Clash as well as possible. JV surrendering a body early on, running into the gunfights off base, basically waiting for him. This 4v4 is very tricky though.
Did Souls actually get into it? No, he's gone for that mirror window, and the Twitch drone has been taken down. Still, there's no doubt who's in favor here. It's FaZe.
Ideally on this attack, you really want office control. Work that office hatch, use the Blackbeard, try and take office. That gives you the rest of the map. Here we go, they're gonna go for it.
Still so much time to work with though. It's no rush for FaZe. FURIA just holding on, peeling back. The Blackbeard is the first one in the building. Can the Frostbite anything? Hurts has been taken out.
1v3.
It's all up to KZ in the 1v3. First one found, but King goes nuclear on the Blackbeard. And FaZe, they are thieves on FURIA's map pick. It's 1-0 in the series, and the world champs are on the way out the door.
You ban the Monty, you get the Blackbeard. What are you gonna do about it? The shield meta is still somewhat here on FaZe Clan, looking like the stronger team on that very first map. And FURIA, they keep trying to brute force every single problem with aggression and taking those risky gunfights. They need to adapt that second map coming up.
It's do or die for FURIA on map 2 coming up after this.
Back it up. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Back it up, back it up. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Back to the back to the back to the back to the back. Take it back, take it back. Back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up. Back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up. Take it back, take it back. Back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Back it up, back it up. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Back to the back to the back to the back to the back.
time when I was young. And you got no time, better late than never. There was a time, but it's best to do something. And you got no better late than never. Yeah, yeah.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Invitational 2025. Back again in Boston. Our first map for the rematch of last year's Invitational Grand Final has gone the way of FaZe Clan, as they like to call them in Brazil, taking down FURIA on the map. It's a repetition of that history from last year. What happened?
I mean, I think we got a little bit of everything, and it was almost the exact same situation as last year. I mean, we started out really hot from FaZe, and then FURIA started countering back. They were able to stop the shields a little bit, but that's when we saw the moment. There was a big moment from FURIA, that 2v5, where they stopped it on the basement bomb site, and I thought, this is the moment. This is the moment FaZe throws again. They have the PTSD. They think back to last year, and that's it. But no, FaZe's mental resilience after that timeout that FURIA took right after that round, FaZe was able to pull themselves back in it, and they still were playing such good shield usage with the Blackbeard, but they started using the Capitao forced off of the BB to be able to push these people out of key positions, and that was the difference maker for FaZe. But all in all, it was the mental resilience not to get overwhelmed after losing that big 2v5 basement round.
You know, we can talk about the mental resilience of FaZe, and obviously it was very well demonstrated here, but for FURIA, I mean, this is where they went wrong yesterday, going against BDS, is they were trying to do these one-offs. I mean, Nick just recently spoke about it, is that they weren't really adapting. They were just trying to have one player go into a position, try to get 1 or 2 frags, and then try to play around that. But all in all, the team was just completely disconjointed in where they were trying to approach. Yes. It was one person on one side of the map, the other trying to take from another, and that's where FaZe would slow down and just pick apart piece by piece by piece of every single engagement, every single defense or attack that FURIA was trying to muster and get a win. So again, FURIA really have to dig deep and play a far better game at adapting.
And that's what you were saying, that FURIA, that was their downside against BDS, is the individuality play. When push comes to shove and they need to be able to adapt and change things on the fly, if they don't have a timeout, it's usually just individual players going for individual plays. And most of the time, yeah, it could work out for you. But when you're playing against an opponent like FaZe that is very reserved, very slow, they're able to slow you down and slowly collect those picks one by one onto their side. And then at that point, you're grasping at straws.
Time management is something that is incredibly difficult, of course, for attackers in general, but also knowing when to control the tempo and how to do it. When you have two teams that have so much pedigree and experience between the two of them, it's those little seconds that can change the entire round. That's the beauty of it. You can swap it one way or the other.
That is the beauty of it. And again, it does come down to IGLs too as well to be able to realize in those moments, to make those difference makers, where Philly Pox, we just aren't seeing that in my opinion.
Oh, gentlemen, that was map number 1. We got Leo Alfama standing by. My God, he's looking great. What do you want to talk to us about?
Thank you, Milosh. Yes, I want to talk to you about FURIA's attacks. I think there was a big issue for me. They were, like you guys said, maybe trying to have multiple pressure points, but not working together as an objective. And most importantly, FaZe's adaptation. Now we are looking here at Gym and Bedroom bomb site on attack, and you're wondering why is the sense sending that onto terrace? Well, you will see server window is a huge, important issue for anyone attacking here, because as you can see, terrace brings a lot of pressure onto Master, but server window can cut all of that off, and by sending the sense, they actually don't care about the entirety of the server side, don't care about cache, don't care about all of this, they don't have to clear it. What they want to do here is very clear. FURIA, once again, they want to take a shortcut directly to the bomb site. And if you look at the setup, there is something I don't like with this strat. Because right now, they can only go from Master window, Gym window, okay. They can go through Jacuzzi Breach, they can go through Main Stairs window. 3 windows out of 4 entry points, that's not ideal. But look at FaZe setup. It's perfectly set up for a trade. As you can see, Souls1 here is in Gym already, ready to trade anyone with KDS. At the same time, Cyber from Main Stairs can get traded from anyone in office with Vita King. And then you have Andy, who can backstab anyone who dies here, he can replace him. And when we move on to real footage, Hertz rappels in here from Main Stairs. Cyber knows he can get traded, so he goes aggressive. He doesn't care. Gets the pick, gets traded, that's okay. Souls1 from Gym gets the pick on the jump in. At the same time, KDS, who was ready to help him, will get the pick on the second player. Again, another train. And then here, another trade. Vita King can go and replace Cyber, who died first, killing Main Stairs. KDS can go aggressive and get the last pick. That's FaZe for you. Always in a tradable position in defense. Strong on fights, yes, but teamwork, always on top. Now, FaZe is 1 map away from SI Grand Finals and is coming after a short break.
Welcome back, everybody, to Six Invitational 2025. We're live again at the MGM Music Hall, live in the historic part of Boston here at Fenway Park. We're so honored to have you all here joining us and everybody at home as well. We've just seen the first bit of a rematch from the SI24 Grand Final in Sao Paulo, Brazil, between FURIA and FaZe Clan, and it's FaZe that take the lead 1-0 on a close Clubhouse. But the chat now is about Kafe Dostoyevsky. Can FURIA bring him back, and how, Gabe?
I think they can. They did lose it against BDS, as we saw yesterday, but what that came down to was just gimmicky plays that we were seeing on this Clubhouse. What I need them to do, the individual prowess on this FURIA roster is unmatched. The reality is they need to be working together. They need to stop doing this solo play, trying to find an opening, trying to go for 2 kills and trying to make a round go in their favor. If they can just work together, find that opening together, make a proper execute, that is going to fall on FeliPox to find that, coordinate that, they can have a far higher success rate than what we just recently saw on Clubhouse.
I mean, we know FURIA is an aggressive team. When it comes to Kafe, they innovated the aggression that you can play on that map. They're going to play aggressive. They just have to do it together, because against BDS, it was very individualized. KZ alone inside a piano, FeliPox downstairs alone in sight. That's the issue that we need to see isolated now, because against FaZe, they'll be able to slow you out and slowly suffocate you out. There's really not much that FURIA can do other than just play together. If they can focus on that one easy element, they'll be way better set up for Kafe.
Gentlemen, we've yet to see a map 3. Is this the time for it?
If FURIA cannot get the teamwork down and with the coordinated aggression, it's going to be a 2-0.
Kafe is just one of those maps that favors defended-sided teams. Unless FURIA has some big individual plays, I think FaZe is taking a 2-0.
I think we all deserve to see it. Boston, you want to see that 3? Yeah! Well, let's hear it. Let's try to get it here. Devmarta, Pengu, all yours.
Thank you very much, Milos and the Analyst on the stage. There's nobody here that doesn't want map 3. We've seen 5 maps out of these guys before. Of course we want to see this go the distance. It's for a spot in the grand final at Six Invitational, where we saw FaZe and FURIA just a year ago in Sao Paulo. Now we're in Boston, and FaZe have won the hearts and minds of you at home. Let's get it on Kafe.
We gotta see more from FURIA. We want a third map. We need a third map, and Lax and Fox broke it down so well. Too much individual play from the side of FURIA and great coordination and team play from FaZe Clan. Clubhouse, you can do hero plays and get away with it. Even though it didn't work, you can try and go for it. On Kafe, however, it's a whole different kind of beast of a map. You need to coordinate all the pushes, the wrap-on-ins, the timings. The one saving grace, FURIA are starting on the defensive side, build a couple of rounds, build the momentum, but we need to keep a very sharp eye on them come the side swap.
And for FURIA, after we saw them win 6 maps straight in the group stage and playoffs, they have failed to win even a single map here on the main stage in Boston, falling 2-0 to BDS, and now 1 map down in the series here in the lower bracket final up against FaZe Clan. And that is the operator veto. Once again, Pengu, we're hit with a few curveballs from both sides of the squad.
Yeah, this one's interesting. So whenever you see a Brava ban, it usually signifies one very important operator, Maestro.
Oh yeah.
So when you see the Brava, it's like, we gotta ban the Maestro. Like, there's really no 2 ways about it. Honestly, it's so hard to deal with. It's similar to when you see like the Thatcher getting banned out, like give her the Kaid. It just makes life way too difficult. It's open, of course, but this will, of course, also force both of the teams into playing a certain playstyle, because if you're gonna be banning out the Brava, it means other key operators are open. For example, Munty goes through. Blackbeard survived the map veto as well. Now, Blackbeard was a very strong operator we saw on Clubhouse. Munty was banned, didn't get to see that in that instance. Grim got banned out. That speaks to, for example, you're often going to be stalking corners on defense. The Green Bees will spot you, red ping you, and then attack and detonate you, kill you from below, etc. So a lot of intel being targeted here on Kafe.
Yeah, and we've seen FaZe have Montaigne banned by them or against them in, what, 7 of the last 9 maps that they've played, give or take. They really love that Monty. You don't want it in their hands, and yet FURIA have taken a bit of a gamble here by letting it on through. Of course, we're in a little technical pause, but if anything, that just builds up that anticipation here for both of these squads. And there's no doubt where the shoulder rests. Of course, heavy is the weight of the crown that FURIA won last year round. As W7M, they won just about everything you could possibly win. Champions in Copenhagen, in Atlanta, and eventually claiming the hammer itself in Sao Paulo. Ever since being picked up by FURIA, they haven't won a damn thing.
I always say it's not hard to win your first tournament in a Tier 1 competition. It's hard to stay winning on top and everyone's looking at you, they're gunning for you. And back when FURIA, they were known as W7M, they didn't just win. They were just strong in competition, they were trendsetting the meta, and they dictated how almost every other team in the world would play Siege for almost a full calendar year. Almost no one has ever done that before. Then there's this whole debate about the dynasty. Was it enough? Has it paused now? And will it continue if they win this Invitationals? Or will it be a different chapter in their careers? And it's hard to argue because it's back and forth. What FURIA/W7 they did, it was a dynasty in my mind. That full year.
Nobody had ever done that before, winning 2 majors and then a 6 Invitational.
Exactly. Nobody had ever done it. But then they kind of disappear, like you mentioned. They qualify sometimes they don't. They don't really get to grand finals anymore, etc. If they win this grand finals, like they say they beat this lower bracket, they go up against BDS and they take it, what does that mean for their story? Is that a different chapter for Dynasty? Is it the continuation? That's a big debate right now.
That's right. For FURIA, they're not just fighting for a hammer.
Oh.
Here we go, come on. There we go.
Oh,
Cameraman
losing to cameraman?
Damn.
That's crazy.
But for FURIA, they're fighting for a hell of a lot more than just another hammer. They're fighting to make history and dethrone what many people regard to be the greatest run of any roster of all time, which was, of course, Penta G2 back in your heyday. Have FURIA beaten that yet? That's an ongoing conversation, and there's no doubt they're very close, but have they actually topped it? And I think this SI is the answer to that question. If they can win here, I think that nobody can doubt they're doing what Penta G2 did back in the day.
That back-to-back hammer, that's the one thing missing, isn't it? And it's such a hard thing to do. Winning one Invitational, sure, but then you gotta be relevant a full calendar year later in a very different meta, different operators, maybe different maps even, and do it all over again. While everyone's looking at you like, you are the best in the team, we want to take you down.
And Rainbow Six, more so than pretty much any other esport, it's so hard to stay at the top. The game is constantly changing. Every 3 months, new patches, new operators, new maps.
Hey, mid-season changes sometimes.
Mid-season changes that can shake the bones of every operator in the game.
Oh, who's going to blink first, huh?
Oh, you guys better not be blinking. Cyber's going to win this one out. I'm already feeling pretty intimidated. If he keeps that up during the series, there's absolutely no way that FURIA can push this to a third map. Now that is determination.
That's commitment, yeah.
Unbreakable. I'm terrified right now. Can we please cut away? I'm getting scared. Thank you.
There it is.
Thank goodness.
The mental game, though. If FaZe finds themselves behind in round count with a slow start on Kafe, do they start getting into themselves a bit? Oh, you know, we're throwing. Because there were a couple of rounds in Clubhouse where I started fearing if they couldn't close out those pivotal rounds, 5 versus 3s in basement, back to back, they completely throw them. I mean, that a 5v2 that they lost.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it was pretty scary. Out of 12 rounds, FaZe got the opening pick in 9 of them.
That's ridiculous.
3/4 of the rounds played. FURIA, was still winning a lot of these rounds from a deficit, a couple of 3v5s, a couple of 2v4s. And so that map could have been a lot more of a dominant scoreline in favor of FaZe had FURIA not had a little bit of gusto in the late round, a little bit of clutch. But on this second map, of course, the shoe's on the other foot. It's FURIA who start on the defensive side of Kafe. And while both of these teams have played a hell of a lot of Kafe in recent times, there's one map that stays in my memory.
Okay.
Which is going to be Shopify Rebellion. You and I actually casted this, Nick. In the group stage, FURIA won 7-0 against Shopify Rebellion on Kafe to put to bed what was anticipated to be quite an even series. Ended up being extremely dominant in favor of FURIA. One of 4 2-0s that they've won so far in the tournament. fun fact for you, FURIA has actually not been part of a 3-map series so far at the Six Invitational.
Oh.
In their opening game, they lost 2-0 to the Japanese of CAG.
Wow.
And then they beat Team Secret 2-0, Shopify Rebellion 2-0, FaZe Clan 2-0, and then of course taking down Raza Company in the same scoreline, only to lose yesterday to Team BDS, albeit in an overtime on the second map.
Yeah.
FURIA still could not push it to a third. They're gonna have to break that streak here to stay in the tournament, to stay in contention for the back-to-back hammers. As we get back into the game, Kafe is ready for us, and FaZe look to put this one to bed.
You know, I'm just happy that this take issue happened before we get into the rounds, right? Nothing like a good old pause, you know, halfway through. No, it's 0-0. Nothing's happened. You haven't missed anything, by the way, in case you weren't aware. We have not played out a single round here on the second map, but we will start the first one right now. FaZe, of course, Arbiter Benz, Grim, and the Maestro, Valkyrie, and the Brava. A lot of intel here. Kafe is a very small map. When you play, for example, this downstairs bomb site, you don't play a whole lot of the other floors. You don't typically roam. When you play top floor, you only really play top floor. That's pretty much how it goes. You don't roam a whole lot vertically as a defender. So with these information operators being banned out, it will just mean that it comes down to so much more of playing off the feeling or playing off your knowledge of the map than a matter of fact that I know there's a guy in this corner. No, you have to assume or feel if there's a guy in that corner and where those power positions will be.
I've already seen FaZe play a dominant Kafe today against Unwanted. And now they look to kick things off against FURIA on the attacking side. Defense down inside a kitchen with a bit of a roam. As the top floor is being droned out here by FaZe. There doesn't appear to be any presence from that defense on that top floor. So Vidiking will waste no time. Monty is on the cards this time around, and yet the Blackbeard's still the preferred shield pick of FaZe.
It's more fun, James. You get a gun, you get to sprint around and have fun. You see right now, Vidiking making the call, saying, I'm not gonna risk my body right now. Drone the crossfire, see if it's there, okay. One person bottom right staircase, could be a guy dining as well, doesn't want to risk it. This is where operators like Buck and Stitch are great. If you take top floor control, you can do vertical destruction to apply pressure on the roamers and work it down floor by floor. We see FURIA falling back towards the bomb site now and say, okay, we burned, you know, and made it to 20 seconds. That's enough for us. We'll fall on back. But you're giving FaZe 1 minute 40 seconds to break apart the floor and breach open a single hatch while playing 2 separate Harbingers in both the Recruit and the Capita with the can openers. You got double self-destruction, Buck and Sledge. They can break apart this entire thing in the next 30 seconds and be ready for execute. So FURIA, they might need to go for a backstab flank up a staircase, a C4 kill downstairs, because if this comes to a 5v5 execute, I would argue that FaZe have all the right tools, and FURIA doesn't have that many answers.
FURIA may have given FaZe not enough respect here, giving them so much ground early. Here comes Nade though, and he's waiting for the contest. As the Blackbeard spots him out, and Nade goes his direction, manages to dodge it, and in fact it's the explosives for the other side. They'll find the opening kill, but there comes Vidiking. With the Scar, he finds Nade, and now looking for a bit of a reply. Felipox teeters around Bakery before falling back once again. Try and retreat deep into the bomb site. KZ looking for a little something, spots a player for a brief moment, but no kill as of yet. FaZe Clan encircle the bomb site from Bakery's side as Vidiking, with diffuser in hand, prepares for an execute.
Has to make the right call now. Where do you plant? Do you need any assistance? Upstairs verticality, Cyber, the cover has to be good.
Here comes that plan. Where is the reply? No C4 available. Desperately now, Felipox gets aggressive for one, but not for a second before traded back. It's all up to KZ. Vidiking low HP. He's got 3 players to find, and he is being watched. He sees the first one, and Handy can handily take him down. A good start for FaZe, and the defense of FURIA picked to pieces.
Oh, I really want to say, Vidiking on Monty has always struck me as a very passive kind of shield player, and I haven't been the biggest fan about it, because FaZe, they can get aggressive, but then Vidiking just kind of stands around watching his teammates die. Now in the Blackbeard, he's getting into the action, getting a kill, trading his teammates, while still being that leader, IGLing, getting the plant down. It's such a good look for him as an individual, and I think FaZe, they play around it beautifully as a team with all 5 players. We don't typically see a Bakery take. Normally it's that verticality, drop down the hatch, go for a plant, but they just make this look so easy because of Viddy King and because of Souls right behind them.
As you said, FURIA completely forfeited the map with 1 minute and 40 seconds remaining. FURIA didn't have any response. The vertical play, the execute from Bakery, a Blackbeard shield to hide behind to entry for a plant. Not much in it. FaZe had it all worked out. Easy as you like, they can just stroll onto site. So FURIA still floundering after what was a very lackluster performance on Clubhouse. These guys have had all morning to watch FaZe fight for their lives against Unwanted. And in fact, they saw these two maps played as well, Clubhouse and Kafe. It hasn't seemed to help FURIA at all. They've come in extremely cold. And now onto the second map, FaZe are still looking to continue their form from Club.
Yeah, I'm not liking this from FURIA. I want to see them try and set the pace more and actually fight back again as a team. Find a player of FaZe, maybe handy unboxing. You want to fight this guy, send 2 players, 3 players, I don't care, and take him down. Even if you trade, it's fine. They keep dying alone. If you let FaZe set the tempo, and they're known as like a slow, strategical, fundamental team, you're in danger. Because if FaZe controls the pace on the attack of Kafe, it means you're gonna see bombs that executes with 4 or 5 attackers alive, with a bunch of utility, and what that means to the defenders of FURIA, they're not gonna have any place they can play on the bomb side. On that last round, Cyber got so many kills and cutting off so many rotations, and just being on the verticality, while Viddy King was in the Blackbeard. If you let FaZe execute, they will execute.
FURIA need to fight FaZe early on, but Nade is debated. And Handy can quickly take him down. A second kill for FaZe. What is going on today? FURIA haven't even woken up. Asleep. 2 rounds in here to Kafe. KZ desperately trying to find something, and there's nothing in it. It's Hurts versus the world as FaZe can quickly, with 1.5 minutes to go, encircle the bomb site and hunt down this last remaining defender. He is put down into the dirt. FaZe barely breaking a sweat as they stroll straight in again.
This is tough for FURIA. Do you call it to the timeout? Do you just send it yourself? Do you need your coach to reset your mentality? They're not fighting back. They're falling apart. They have no idea what's happening on the map. They're playing no information. The Maestro is banned. The Valkyrie is banned. You have other options. Whether it's the pulse, whether it's echo, whether it's a bunch of bulletproof cameras, somebody sitting on default cams. Look at this. They drone the bomb site, handed them downstairs, just gets the kill. If you check the default cameras and see Bakery cam has been shot, or you hear a player moving down there, you should expect red stairs pressure. They didn't expect it. FURIA being caught off guard by a slow-paced attack from FaZe? I mean, come on.
Like you said, it's the pace from FaZe that FURIA still cannot seem to wrap their head around. FaZe are not playing hyper-aggressive. They're not getting in FURIA's face on this attacking side. They're sitting, and they're waiting, and they're mounting up. They're talking the pressure, and FURIA are getting baited. They're being read into it. There's only been 2 sides of FURIA that we've seen this tournament. The FURIA that is untouchable and beating everyone 2-0, and the FURIA that never wakes up in the surfer. And what we need to see is FURIA figure out, okay, we're off our game today, we need a mental reset. And that tactical timeout they took out on Clubhouse, they lost the following rounds. They didn't have the read. Igor did not do what the team needed.
And again, comes back to adaptations. Yesterday, FURIA against BDS. I mean, it was an incredible match. This is a raw firepower from both teams. But BDS, they were the team to adapt every single round and find the right answers, the right solutions to the problems. FURIA couldn't. And at Clubhouse, it looked like it was somewhat 50-50. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, like, oh, it's only 0-2 of FURIA, but in the way that which FaZe are winning these rounds, they are in full control. And it can be so hard to find a way back on Kafe. Again, it's a small map. You have so few plays you can make. You need your individuals to step up. The team with the synergy right now. Piano pressure, a lot of it. Deployable shield, keep it barriers. Attackers on the rappel, trying to pick apart this first setup. There are at least 2 ADSs. We need to see some flashbangs, some gauges here coming out from FaZe, and they have plenty to throw.
And this is some old school siege right here. But there's also an attempted flank there from JV. He decides better of it, falls back. A good nade in. Desperately looking for but nade cut down to size. Hurts looks for another, but the reply from KDS comes swiftly for FaZe. And they again win the opening exchange.
Yeah, there's just no gaps for FaZe Clan. You see it right there. They had the mini execute. Nade left, nade right, force the movement, get down that player, and if Furia goes for a swing, worst case they trade it 2 for 1. Again, it's worth it.
And it doesn't matter how many ADSs, how many magnets you've got. KZ!
Why?
You can't get away with swinging that. Furia now falling again, 1 by 1. JV's been read to death. FaZe are firing on all cylinders today, and Furia are yet to exist on Kafe.
Maybe the nightmare all along wasn't on the side of FaZe Clan.
And so it's a quick timeout here for Furia. It didn't work for them on the first map.
Óbvio para onde eles querem jogar, tá ligado? Eu sei que nesse momento está muito foda, o Nade tá certo, muita reclamação e pouca solução do que a gente pode fazer. Então, vendo tipo igual lá no bombe da roda, eles pegaram o Thatcher pra já ir lá e abrir o sapão e tal. Vamos definir o que a gente quer fazer. No primeiro round, eles quebraram a Banshee já lá no início, eles deixaram claro que eles queriam virar pra padaria. E a gente vamos tomar uma ação e jogar em conjunto, tá ligado? Eles estão fazendo as plays mais simples possíveis, só que eles estão fazendo todo mundo em conjunto. É recurso, dropa e mata, tá ligado? Se a gente começar tipo antecipar um pouquinho na hora do recurso, vamos tentar dar uma peitada, alguma coisa em conjunto, acho que a gente consegue buscar isso, mano. Só que a gente vai ter que fazer isso junto, tá ligado? Não tipo só atribuindo culpa tal. Então vamos tentar jogar com essa mentalidade o resto da defesa, bora?
Então bora, guys. Bora ter mais leveza então aí.
This time, James, I did not hear any operator specifics. This seems to be more of a mental, strategical, fundamental thing than just simply operators.
That's exactly what they need. FaZe just know exactly when Furia are going to peak, which is all the time. Furia are desperate. FaZe have the read on every single flank, every single refrag, and yet again, FaZe are finding these early picks up against Furia, who have thus far at the Six Invitational been one of the best teams in the tournament in those early rounds.
There is a world where doing something really stupid might be the answer for Furia, because they're trying to play against FaZe Clan in those 5v5 executes, and they're unbeatable by the looks of it right now. I mean, they don't have the right answers when inside of Furia and FaZe Clan. They're prepared for everything. If you fly out a window and trade your body 1 for 1 on defense, I will say worth it. Because look at the attacker lineup. No matter who you take down, incredible high value. Either a shield player, a utility player, or a vertical self-destroyer. So I want to see Furia in this round get more aggressive with it. Be willing to take the risk in the fights, knowing that it's okay if you die as long as you get that 1 kill. Because what they've been doing is they've been avoiding the fight. They die regardless with grenades, with the camp on fire, and then they feel forced to take bad fights afterwards, already being down a player, and then it's too late. So take the fight before you're behind.
It's exactly what we saw on the first map. The rounds where Furia got it down swiftly to a 3v3, those are the ones they look the best. And for the team that is the best at opening kills in the tournament at 59%, that's how often Furia are finding the opening engagement. FaZe are way down at 51. The Furia have not showed us that level of accuracy in their aggression today. Yeah, they're getting aggressive, but it's the wrong time. It's the wrong read. It's the wrong player.
Now we see Handy's turn on the Blitz. I'm curious if this is going to be a more aggressive approach because Vidiking is on the Ying. Usually Vidiking, he'll be more plant, execute oriented. That enables Handy to go more crazy with it. C4 goes out, takes down the Injure on Cypher, not the confirmed kill. And they won't know necessarily, so he'll be okay. That is such a huge difference. If Bok dies, there's almost no self-destruction vertically for FaZe Clan because it's an Injure. He can continue his job. If they have impact grenades and they know he got injured from nade, easy kill. Second C4 from Hurts could also, of course, land, but he's playing white stairs. Not quite gonna happen. Drone on the ground, a lot of pressure being applied to the free fire. He's gonna fall on back. And just like last time, FaZe with about half the round to go, they can do their setup, they can do their self-destruction. They, again, control the pace.
Are Furia going to be able to retake here? There's so much time left on the board for FaZe. And again, they have a shield. This time, they've also got that Ying. 4 Candelas in pocket for Vidiking. And the vertical dominance here from FaZe will suppress any form of re-aggression. We know full well, FaZe usually going to go for this bakery take. They're not going to hit the backstab. They're not going to fall into those Vulcan canisters. I think it's going to change this time, though.
Yeah. Fire's going to go out. Blitz down the white staircase. Trying to isolate. But there's the shot from Philippox.
And for what seems like the first time in forever, Furia have started things strong, but Handy will find his kill! Takes a few shots from the pistol, but eventually Hurts will go down. KZ, meanwhile, has lost his life, and it is indeed a backstab here for FaZe. The flash comes out for Leapok's blind. JV, him, and Nade to try and hold on to this position. The Leapok spotted and eliminated by Souls. A 4v1 now. FURIA cannot hold on. JV's found his first, but no C4 available and no shot in hell. Souls has won it for FaZe again. The diffuser down, and FaZe untouchable on these attacks at Kafe.
They're just not making any mistakes. Doesn't matter if it's the Ying, the Blitz, the Verticality, the Capital, the Grenades. They have so many different answers. There's so many different problems in front of them. And for FURIA, it comes back to the same old thing. They have a hammer in the toolbox. They think everything is a nail, and they stay that course. They need to hit that switch assist, adaptation, change up. You're letting FaZe execute time after time. And this round, Philipbox opened things up with a kill. That was great. But then Handy got one, Cyber got one, and just like that, this early advantage was shut down immediately after. No crossfire, FURIA surrendering players for free without a punishment.
Outplayed over and over again. FURIA cannot find their way into this game. 4 rounds of attack straight for FaZe. This has really not even been a battle. The cover always there. Look at them. They're barely broken a sweat. They barely needed to fire up. And for any FURIA fans here in the MGM Music Hall in Boston, your team hasn't given you a lot to cheer for yet. Not after the expectation placed on the hammer they drew last year, on the tournament they've had so far. Could it be that FURIA does not even win a map on the main stage at Six Invitational? I'd barely believe it. All I know is that BDS are sitting back, chilling out today, and licking their lips, ready to face whoever wins this matchup tomorrow in our grand final. At the moment, it's certainly not looking to be the world champions.
It's not. But this lineup, it screams aggression, the March individual, the Lesion. We gotta see the individual players step up. I keep saying it, but we've yet to see it. I said fly out a window, take the 1-for-1 trade. It's gonna be worth it, trust me on it. But FaZe Clan, they're ready. The yellow ping goes out. They know something's up. They're gonna try and bait this play. FURIA, do you have the guts to go for it? Do you swing it out? Yes, JV says I do.
And guess who's back? It's KZ. But immediately red again. The impact hurt. And KZ goes down. An even change, but more. Now for FURIA. Desperately jumping out windows. JV finds his second. Hertz is also outside. Nade's the only one in the bloody building. And KDS is looking to try and cut off these 2 FURIA players as they make their way back to side. Damage may be done. It's a 3v3 as FURIA look to restabilize.
But that's what I was saying. Jump out the window, take the trade, it's good. But then again, KDS, he strikes back, finds another. JV's down. Looking to re-aggress with this. You need to win this gunfight. The C4 downstairs gets a kill instead.
Dropping down from Laundry. He's been found. Hertz coming to life when he's needed. Souls knows exactly where these last 2 players are, and he's out of flashbangs to get it done as well. He needs to find the first kill on Nade. But FURIA are finally in the server. 5th time's the charm for the world champions. And FURIA have a hell of a long way to bring this back into the realm of possibility.
That was exactly what we needed to see from them. But it took them 5 full rounds, 4 of those losses, to realize that they had to go for that play. That's the round of FURIA that we can recognize. The aggression together, making those mini plays, swing the window, impact Garrett's door, jump out the window with 2 separate players, is going to have back towards the bomb side. It's excellent. Sure, it depends a little bit on timings, a little bit on luck, if you will, but good players make their own luck, and FURIA, they are excellent when they play their own style of Siege, but they've been forced by FaZe Clan to play on their terms, and that's not where they thrive.
And even though that was FURIA's first round on the board so far, it was the closest one we've seen. FaZe, on the other hand, they've had a perfect round where they didn't drop a body. They've had a round where they only dropped 1. And the 2 others, they only dropped 2 players. 3 left alive in the server. FURIA, it was down to a 2v1 that still looked a little bit shaky, a little bit on the rocks. If that isn't a testament to how dominant FaZe have been in this map so far, I don't know what is. But there is a lifeline for FURIA. 1 final chance on their defense. But even a 2-4 scoreline is not going to convince us that they can continue pushing this to bank.
On Kafe, no. Absolutely not. I mean, we're expecting 3 rounds, at least maybe 4 on defense. Of course, this could end up being an attacker favorite Kafe, but it just tells the story that scary things are to come. FaZe Clan sitting pretty. They're waiting for everybody to get into the right positions. Handy literally AFK outside the building on a rappel. Line charge goes out. Can pop open that window. Meanwhile, JV quite literally still put on the bomb side. Casts a barricade. Nate goes out to take it down again. It misses actually.
Bit of damage, but not enough as of yet. And castle barricade still secure as well. Another E1D subsides. FaZe unclear what headway they've made so far in this round.
They're all outside the building.
Except Cyber.
Well, except Cyber, I guess.
He's on for a lurk here.
The hardest thing on Kafe, in my mind, is getting inside the building comfortably with all your players. Right now, you have one roamer downstairs, Cyber. If he can find the kill, create a bit of chaos, great. We gotta see the other players get on in the building. Nade's flashbang goes out. It's gonna be a drop or what?
Ooh, Cyber on his lurk does open the equation. It's not looking hot here for FURIA. FaZe, piece by piece, they inch their way into the map, but FURIA finally have a response. Surely not for Leapbox in the long angle. With the wall bank, he does lose his life. And as a logic bomb subsides, it's up to Nade now in a 1 versus 2, but Handy's about to get picked up. He didn't see the first player, but he's dropped that diffuser, cold on the ground. As Vidaking's body will lay there and wait. Handy and Souls now. Leapbox can still scout for information. Handy's picked that diffuser back up. And he's looking to drop downstairs, leaving Souls up above, but guess what? Here come the red pings. And that means that FURIA know they can go pick up for Leapbox. Plan's gonna go down, and it will be a retake opportunity here for 2 very low HP players on FURIA.
They trade diffuser for a revive. I say, okay, fair enough, but a 2v2, is anybody's round still Handy? 1 bullet down, as is FURIA.
Souls, the most likely to win this round for his team. 46 bullets in the magazine, but Handy, he's found 1. That's all it takes to put down for Leapbox. Nade, now in a 1 versus 2, with a hell of a long road ahead of him as he dances around the bomb side, but Souls has got him! And it's an unbelievable 5-1 lead for FaZe. 2 rounds from their revenge.
Maybe there's only one way back now, James, if you're FURIA. And we've seen it happen before, but it's not pretty. That 1-6 is calling their name.
But man, it was such a different environment. It was such a different time. It was such a different FURIA. Can they show up like they did last year, even when match point is staring them down, which, to be frank, it looks like that's going to happen pretty damn soon. FaZe are up 5-1, and FURIA, even in these tight, tense moments, FaZe are still winning these 2v2s.
They're making good decision after good decision. I mean, FaZe right now, they're just not taking any unnecessary risk. In that 2v2, they could assume that the last player, Philippox, was injured, and they said, oh, we can risk it, walk over there, confirm the kill, or just say, you know what, take the bombs up for free. Either we'll get a 2v1, and we fight the player on the side, or the side is clear because it's going for a revive, and it's a 2v2, but we get the bomb down. It's fundamentally solid siege. It's simple, it's highly effective, but it also relies on all the players communicating very clearly together. FaZe Clan, they spent the first half that round simply setting up the exact player positions. And then I said, if Cyber finds a kill to create that chaos effect in the server, it'll open things up. He found it downstairs, and they followed through. Now Cyber is on a dining. It looked like for a second he's about to jump out the window himself here to start things off. Hasn't done it just yet. FURIA that popped open that garage wall. And this first defense will be downstairs for FaZe Clan.
So FURIA, what have you got for us on this attacking side? Clearly with some ideas in mind, thanks to that Sens pick, thanks to the Blitz pick. Oh yeah, attack didn't look too crash hot though on Clubhouse. I like this Twitch though. Clearing out some of this util brought to the board by FaZe. Even these Aruni gates are gonna slow FURIA down.
No, they are. It's just a warning sign. When the gate gets popped, that means something is up. We see a blitz. We see the push, the Sense Protector walls. Here we go, Pitbox on in.
So he goes straight into prep and desperately looking for something. It's awkward now for Souls holding onto his position, but deep in the side, Philippox has found 2, looking for a 3rd! Oh, Philippox has taken matters into his own hands! Something now needs to come through for FaZe. as Cyber and KDS make their way back to fight FURIA, but it's a 4v1. Cyber, it's all up to him. The FURIA have finally come to life in the server. FaLeePox and Herds will finish it off. A second round on the board for FURIA, and a hell of a long way to go to make this game even.
That's a statement round right there. You're down 1-5. We don't care. Let's send it. Blitz goes in. The Sense projector walls to cut the line of sight. Show a pocket strat to full effect. And FaLeePox leading the charge for his team. He had a very quiet time on Clubhouse, but he is now finally showing up in the second map of Kafe.
FaLeePox is looking good on that shield. But you know who hasn't looked too hot today for FURIA? It's KZ.
Yeah.
This is the highest rated player in the tournament. He's only had 1 kill so far to 7 deaths. That's him, one of the best players in the entire world, and he has been for a hell of a long time, even back when FURIA were W7. And before they'd started raising trophies, everyone was saying, who is this guy?
Yeah.
And everyone from the Brazilian region, he said, oh yeah, that's our Lion. That's him. That's our KZ. And yet here he is on the biggest stage where we expect so much from him. This tournament's been his for the taking. He's struggling, and he needs to have an impact on these entries because FURIA have been lacking teeth. That's exactly what FaLeePox was. And he's not the player that you expected out of. He's on the shields. He needs to be creating a ruckus, but we need kills to come through from the riflers on FURIA.
Now FaLeePox perhaps, as the Monty, can enable the rest of his team to get those pieces of information, figure out where FaZe set up, which corners are clear, which ones aren't. This top floor, gotta pop the hatches. You're working way down through Cigar Lounge, piano room most likely, and just take it one step at a time. The beautiful thing about FURIA that we saw last round, they had a very clear vision of how to take the first map step in control, but if they want to, they can chain that into a full bombs and execute. So if you give them just a little bit of wiggle room, they might take the whole damn map with that.
E1D from FURIA to try and lock these FaZe players in place. Very much a heavy anchorage setup as Vinicking deals Herds here on that cocktail rappel. Opening kill yet again for FaZe Clan, but Souls, who's been so dangerous, his army will go down thanks to JV, as again, the Lion scan will ring out through the server.
Gotta see FaLeePox up next now. You've gotten your 1-for-1 trade, it is what it is. Start working that map, we see the heartbeats going out, the drones coming through. Information is the next step for FURIA. The C-Cigar is clear. FaLeePox needs to double check all the corners by the desk, inside the box, it's all good. But a C4 downstairs from Handy can stop a shield, can stop a plant attempt as well. And if they don't know about his position, that could be a very big issue later on.
FURIA slow and steady. They know there's a lot of info here for FaZe, and they themselves have been starved for info. There's mute jammers in abundance, and KDS still lies in wait. I don't know. Surely they can find this. There's no way KDS survives in this position hiding by the piano.
He has for as long as possible. You see Cyber, the play is there. The only issue is that's C4 downstairs. It's been going upstairs instead, so there's no plant deny now. FaLeePox walks on in. Tons of intel now, but can FURIA act upon this?
Oh, C4 shot out of midair. And FaLeePox will live to survive another day, but he's in a crossfire and he's taking a hell of a lot of damage. He needs his teammates to come and support him. He brings out the pistol. Him and KZ will find one, but traded back again. As FaZe look to restabilize, FaLeePox has made his way all the way deep in a cocktail. But KDS, the surprise inside of the piano, sings a sweet song for FaZe as FURIA force that plant down. It's up to Nade now to be the main fragger here for FURIA in this post plant. FaLeePox is alone though, and he's been taken out! FaZe Clan are 1 round from revenge!
The best thing of all of your FaZe, with a big smile on their face, is that the scoreline does not say 6-1 and that nightmare begins at 6-2, which if you are a person that will fall to those kinds of things, you'll be fine this time around. History will not repeat itself 1-1.
And FaZe look as chill as ever. All the weight, as we've said, rests on FURIA's shoulders. No tactical timeout in the bank. This whole series, every time they have taken one, they've lost the following round. In contrast, on the other side of the server, on the other side of the stage, FaZe look like they're just chilling. They look like this is another day in the office.
Yeah.
On their defense, they're so comfortable. They don't sweat when a Monty is marching towards them. They know that they'll win in the post plan.
I gotta say, someone's gotta help FaZe, man. I mean, that round was ridiculous. He's walking in, fighting 3 different players, unextending, goes for an ADS against Monty, walks further in, gets more intel, gets the plant down. Meanwhile, almost everybody else behind him, they're just falling in their individual gunfights. FURIA never joined out piano. KDS was in the corner the entire time. He got the kill to line, rappelling on in. They had no idea. So the way FaZe are attacking on this map is that they say, we want Cigar, check. We want piano, check. Now we go execute. FURIA, they got Cigar, then they go, we kind of maybe have piano, let's go for execute. But they never bothered droning it. They never bothered double checking. And those small gaps, that could be your own demise. KDS with the backstep gets the kill. FURIA then fall apart very shortly after. I mean, KC on the demos could maybe get some action going. Nade in the block, great for soft destruction. But it doesn't matter what operator you're playing if you individually cannot wake up in the server, if you can't get inside the building. So I want to see Philippox now lead his players in. Say, hey, Cigar is clear, drop the red hatch. Get your foot in the door, get inside the building, and start working the map one step at a time.
Where is the energy that we expect out of these players on FURIA? These core fraggers. One of the only rosters that can match any other team in the world in firepower. And KDS puts the lion back in his cage for yet another round. KZ has been impactless for FURIA. The star player of the tournament has nothing to show.
Philippox pretty much alone, walking in the shotgun downstairs. Cyber, close corner, gets the one tap with the Vigil Boss G. And Philippox, he's not leading his teammates in. He's baiting them into bad gunfights, and he keeps on swinging.
How does Cyber keep doing this? Philippox can thankfully refrag. Plenty of time on the clock, but not a lot of players in the server here. Not a HP on these FURIA players. Still control upstairs for FaZe. There's nothing in this attack for FURIA.
No. What is this attack? You don't have upstairs control? Didn't roam clear? Monty isn't in the building? You got yellow things upon you? You're low on HP? FURIA, now's the time to clutch up and show up.
Philippox has to have an impact. There comes the DMR. Ring true for JV. Handy's down, but him and Nade are still so low on HP, and JV has been tried. It's all up to Nade and Philippox now. Numbers in a disadvantage for them, and Nade is on the floor! It's all up to Philippox! 7 years under siege! Haunted by the ghosts of Sao Paulo! A second chance at greatness! FaZe look to rewrite history! Another grand final for FaZe Clan!
Not just that, but it's gonna be a FaZe versus BDS, the battle of adaptations, the battle of depth. Yes, they got firepower, but the teamwork and the strategy will reign supreme. And FURIA, they had a tough year. They finally showed up until this moment, but then once again, they couldn't get there all the way.
FURIA could not stand tall on the main stage at Six Invitational. There will be no back-to-back hammers. The Panthers have been defanged, and FaZe Clan have their revenge. They will have a chance at a hammer, just like they did last year, tomorrow against BDS, shaping up what could be an historic grand final here at SI in Boston.
It's crazy, like you said earlier. There's 0-2 or 2-0s for FURIA. They don't go third maps. And on main stage, what do you say? If they lost 2-0 here, they don't, get to win a single map on main stage? How?
It's not the FURIA that we expected. It's not the FURIA that already beat FaZe once in this tournament so far. And yet it's the FURIA that showed up today. FaZe Clan have done exactly what everybody asked them. They've taken down FURIA and they've made it back into a grand final. And we're going to hear from KDS on the main stage about this massive victory for FaZe.
This team has, of course, broken hearts here in this arena. But please, Boston, for KDS and FaZe Clan, show some respect. Ever since losing to BDS, you've looked like a different team. I'll talk about BDS shortly. but this must feel like true revenge.
Yeah, we lost in final in the group stage. Now we're on, and we are in the grand final, so the feeling is amazing. And we are going to prepare to beat BDS finally.
Do you think you've been carrying that loss with you ever since the Six Invitational last year in Sao Paulo? It was a much closer affair, of course, in that best of 5 in the grand final. This time round, 2-0.
Yeah, 2-0 is amazing because we prepared a lot to this. In the Six Invitation, we lost because 1 round. So I think to beat this team with 2-0 is amazing because they are very good. And now we are waiting for BDS in the final.
Look at this. You came 1 round away from this last year. You get another shot in another grand final, this time against BDS. How can you secure the hammer this time around?
I don't know, because every time we will play against BDS, we lost. So it will be a new thing for us. We are not remember what we have in Saudi in the last major. So it will be a new game and a new mentality to play against them.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Six Invitational 2025 Grand Finalists, it's KDS and FaZe Clan. We are going to go to a quick break, but when we come back, we will be picking apart everything we just saw in that lower bracket final with Milos and the guys on the desk.